And we are back with another episode of the Hockey Princess podcast. Guys, we're here together. This never happens.
Yes, and in case you couldn't tell, we're going to go to the beach or something.
Hey, we'll see. We'll see. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. Also, just as a reminder, our episodes come out on Thursday, but this one's a little special. We're a little early on this one. Crusty, old guy, is going to be in Ohio for most of the week. So today is Sunday. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to our favorite crusty old guy. So we're doing this one quite a bit early. So there may be news that, happens between the time we film and the time that this episode drops, but we don't know yet. We're not fortune tellers.
Well, you're a witch.
I mean, yes. But it comes in moments. It has moments.
Okay.
All right. Let's get into it. We do have a bit of Chicago Blackhawk news. Chicago Blackhawks and Chris Foster has decided to part ways. We have a new play-by-play guy, Rick Ball from the Calgary Flames. I'm very excited to see. He seems, based on everyone's reactions when the news happened from Canada, he seems to be a very well-liked in the Canadian hockey world. He's been in the game for quite a long while, so it should be interesting.
Yeah. There was a whole bunch of stuff about Foster's and how nobody really liked him, and he wasn't a hockey guy. Didn't quite understand the game and everything, so I don't know. The Ball guy, he's an old-time hockey dude, so he should fit in nicely with Pang. I mean, I don't know what young people like yourself want out of a play-by-play man.
I'd like them to be a little hockey.
A little hockey. Yeah, I always thought, Pat and even Dale, they would do a lot of meet and greets and go out and see the people. I don't ever remember Foster's doing anything like that. I don't know if kids these days, you young kids, if there's an Instagram presence or what's the other stuff that you can do? A TikTok presence. Is that enough for you? Would you like a mingling in a scene outside of?
I wouldn't expect.
You're a young person.
Yeah, I am. I wouldn't expect it, but I do think it goes a long way, especially if you're new to that position and new to whatever sport you're in, like new to that team. I do think it goes a long way to do stuff like that, but I wouldn't necessarily expect it.
Yeah, I just don't know if that's one of, like, the HBGO boys are now trying to do stuff with little
HGO.
Whatever. I know there's a lot of letters. I think we know who we're talking about. And it's a way to get out there in live events and kind of meet people.
Yeah.
And as I said, Pat and Dale each had done it before at some bar for an away game. Instead of when there's a game on TNT, you could actually go out. You're not broadcasting it. Maybe get out and see the people a little bit more might be helpful.
Yeah.
I do understand that Foster's, on his off time, was working hard.
Yeah.
He put a lot into it. At the end of the day, he wasn't really a hockey guy. He wasn't one of us. So.
Yeah, he wasn't my cup of tea, but I wish him well. I don't think he did poorly whatsoever, and I do think that he did put quite a bit of effort into it, but just wasn't.
Oh yeah, no, I consider him a very talented kid. I'm not worried about him landing on his feet. I don't even think hockey's his main one, so I think he will be fine. It's just obviously the Blackhawk brass has been listening to people, because I know he was number one on everybody's radar. Everybody wanted him on. At least, the crusty people like me, your older generation.
Mm-hmm.
So I always like to go back to your listeners and ask them and get a younger person's slant on all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Another coaching change that we didn't talk about. Maybe we talked about it. Did we talk about Harry Potter last week?
We didn't talk about Harry
Potter. Jeremy Colleton is your new assistant coach for the New Jersey Devils. And from the rumors and the rumblings that I've been hearing, you will be in charge of the power play for New Jersey. So good luck. New Jersey fans, my condolences. You are going to have Nico Hischier on the bench with the whiteboard explaining things.
Well,
initially, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how long Colleton has been with Vancouver's minor league team. Because is Green the new coach at New Jersey? Is that Travis Green? Yeah, so I mean Travis Green worked for Vancouver, so I don't know if they had workings while he was the head coach there.
Yeah.
And Colleton was a minor league coach. It's a little bit of a redemption tour for him.
Yeah.
We'll see how it all goes.
Yeah.
Did you talk at all about the San Jose Sharks coach?
No, I'm a little unfamiliar with it.
Well, I was a tiny bit he used to coach the Chicago, what are they called? The Wolvies.
Oh, yes.
So,
should be interesting.
Yeah, it sounds like he's getting a good break. Kind of what they do for a player, that's going to be, that's a cat. Ew.
Ew. Sorry, guys.
When you're going to be a really bad team, you kind of bring in a lame duck coach, and that's kind of where he's at. But let's see.
Or it could be a guy just, he was in the AHL.
Oh, yeah.
Good for him for jumping.
Yeah, but I'm just saying the NHL is mostly about retreads. Once you get in, you're kind of in, and everybody goes through.
It's how you end up having.
I have a ton of respect for all these coaches. Trust me, when I say just a spot, they're all really good. You just sometimes things click, sometimes they don't. So, but they won't be very good.
No, but neither will we.
No, we will not.
No, we won't. So a couple of new coaching changes. Before we get into some draft stuff, we have 2 hockey games to talk about. 2. One went great and one not so great. We are now officially waiting for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals, Florida versus Edmonton. Currently, Florida is up 3-1 in the series. Last night's game was very, very rough. But let's talk about Game 3 first. Game 3 was magical, guys, because Florida won. And Crusty was right. The first Florida goal, you could feel it. Like I was here in my home sitting on my couch, and I could feel it through the screen, the tension that was in Rogers' place. It was great. I loved it. But that's because I love when Florida wins.
Yeah, Florida did their usual thing. They came at you in waves. They didn't let you breathe. Skinner probably with a couple that he would have wanted back. And the Bob played out of his head again.
The Bob is Bob. Your 2024 Conn Smythe winner.
Yes.
If I get my way.
So, it was just basically more of the same. So it looked like everything would be heading, to an early cup finish. And that didn't happen. Last night there was a lot of craziness. And Edmonton, every shot that they took went in. They finally got some breaks. They finally stopped holding their sticks so tight. And all of a sudden, they could start hitting corners. And completely outplayed Florida Panthers.
It's okay. Because maybe they just wanted to win it at home.
You don't ever want to win it at home. You want to close out. Closing out is difficult. You now give them life. And with giving them life, all you got to do is lose that next one, and then everything goes back to, oh, shit.
Yeah. So I'm a little scared. Not completely. I'll be scared after game 5 if it doesn't go my way. I still have faith in the Florida Panthers, and I have faith in my annoyance and hatred for the Edmonton Oilers. I have faith in it. The hockey horseshoe will be good.
Well, I mean, it's just it's the one thing you didn't want to do. Everything just kind of clicked last night to where all of a sudden, look at that, Connor McDavid's got points. Zach Hyman's got points. Power plays finally scoring. All of these things that you held them completely down with have now stopped. So now you've given them that glimmer of hope that they think, oh, we can do this. They just got lucky. We'll see what happens with game 5. Bob got yanked midway through the second. He wasn't going to put him through anything else.
No, I mean, I felt bad for Bob that, he's performed as well as he has, and then to get yanked. But at the same time, I completely agree with Maurice's call. Edmonton did win 8-1, and Bob let a few in. But it's not all of them, I think, were Bob's fault.
Oh, no. It was a really rough game for Goose. He played really bad. First game I've seen this playoff that Goose did not look good. The third goal he drifted over. He didn't have confidence in his D partner and let a backdoor pass go through, which you cannot do. A real rough game for Gustav Forsling. So it happens. It just hasn't happened to him.
Yeah.
So I expect them to go to the chalkboard a little bit and tell everybody, listen, everybody's got their own man to play. We ain't playing, you're not going all over the place. So
I watched part of it. Did Bennett come back?
Yes, Bennett came back. Bennett, a lot going on with that hit number 1. Bennett left for the full-out reason to see if he could get 5 minutes. I believe they show him covering his mouth like this as he's walking all the way across. I believe he was telling everybody, I'm fine. I want to make this look good. I'm fine. I want to make this look good.
Oh, I choose to believe that he was.
Because, yes, he was back on for the next. I don't even think he missed a shift. He was back in for power play 2 that he plays on. It was another need. He could have been 5 minutes, yes. They decided to go with the tripping.
But what?
Either way, Crusty old guy's always the same way when it comes to officiating in the NHL. Officiating never decides a 7-game series. So.
No, but it definitely decided that first goal. It doesn't decide a 7-game series, but it can decide smaller points. I would like an explanation. It's a knee on knee. Same with Vogel a couple of games ago. Nurse does it again. The Vogel one's 5 minutes and a game misconduct. The same thing. It's a 2-minute. I don't understand. So if anyone actually understands why and if there were detailed differences, send us a message because I'm confused. It wasn't 5 minutes left in the period. It wasn't deciding anything major. I know we don't actually count penalties when they're too close. Cough, cough, Leon Draisaitl. But I still just don't understand. It's the same thing. I don't get it. But it's not my job to get. It's just my job to comment on my silly little show.
There you go.
Do you have anything on the playoffs? Anything else? Any questions, comments?
No,
I hope they get back to Florida safely because the Florida Panthers struggled to get to Alberta with weather issues in Florida. So I hope they get back. But yeah.
Yeah, no, game 5 should be pretty interesting. I don't believe I'll be watching it.
Lame.
I have to.
I will, because Ruti will be on screen.
I will have to drive to Cleveland for a graduation thingy for Dr. Cody. But we leave at like 5:00 Chicago time, and then I'm heading to Cleveland. So I'm hoping I can catch the third period. We'll see. I'll make my woman listen to it on the Sirius, XM NHL network, but she should be thrilled about that. But I'll be leaving at 5:00 on a Tuesday, in the middle of rush hour trailer. All right, let's go to subject.
Gross. All right. Well, that's on the NHL scope. We're getting back to the draft, friends, because we're Blackhawk fans and we have nothing else to do until it's decided who we take at number 2. But speculate the NHL draft.
Well, yeah, because that's what bad teams do.
Yeah, respect.
I never would spend this much time on the draft because I'd be more worried about, okay, we need this piece and we might have to go let go of this piece. But now I just walk around going, we have no pieces. There's no pieces.
Hey, we have one piece.
We have one piece.
He's the beacon of hope. I'd give some. We don't know. Like we say every week, we don't know about prospects. We don't know what they could develop into. I'd say we have some, I don't want to say the tier of the talent level of pieces, but we have some goaltending pieces. They are pieces. We have some pieces. I'm trying to be optimistic.
No, you've got the pickle. Pickle's a piece.
I'm a Count Comesso a piece. But that's just because I'm a fan.
Comesso is a piece.
You can count Diane as a piece.
No, you can't.
Yes, you can.
No.
They were drafted. I think you can.
No. Those are hopeful pieces.
But they're pieces.
They're praying pieces. They're not even pieces.
All right.
They're like Mirage is. They might turn into pieces.
All right.
They're like a cocoon. A butterfly might come out, might not. We don't know. It might just come out of the cocoon and fall on the ground and die.
Wow. And on that note, we're going to talk about first round.
Okay.
Our thoughts, our feelings, maybe a couple more picks that we think potentially the Hawks could take further down the line, because Crusty did have some last week that I so rudely cut him off because I needed to talk about Matthew Tkachuk. All right.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to talk about your pieces, or do you want to talk about
what pieces?
You said you had ones further down.
I didn't bring my notebook.
Wow, so prepared.
I'm not very prepared. I'm not having a cigar. I'm out of my element. I got some weird picture back here. Is it awfully? I don't know if we're following Yellow Brick Road. I don't know what's happening here.
All right, first round. Well, we got.
Boy, nobody got that isn't watching this though.
No.
All right, let's just move on then.
All right, number 1, as we've talked, and we knew this even last year when we saw him play for the Chicago Steel, Macklin Celebrini is going number 1 to the San Jose Sharks. Slam dunk. It's an easy thing. It'll be a great thing. The biggest question around that is, does he go immediately to San Jose or does he go back to Boston? He did have an interesting statement at the Combine where basically said he does want to go back to school. Love that for him. Have another year or 2. San Jose's got time. I know a lot of people were speculating that maybe he would immediately make the jump to San Jose, especially because Will Smith signed his entry level. But he said basically at the Combine that he's going back to Boston, at least for another year.
Yeah, and those top kids they talk, I'm sure he's talked to the Beacon of Hope a little bit. And I'm sure the Beacon of Hope has told him, hey, you might want to just stay in school. This is a shit show.
Yeah.
Do you really want to be part of that? That's going to be a really bad team. I mean, a really bad team.
Yeah.
I get it. Maybe if you were really good buds with Smith, you would think about the both of you. But, San Jose is like us. There's just no talent anywhere. makes it very difficult to want to come in. So
I think the only reason that they were potentially speculating is like Beacon of Hope essentially had to go in. Sure, he has Lucas Reichel, who's a couple of years older than him, but there's nobody else that was, top 10 around him. From the number one to everyone else, but you went through it together almost.
Well, right, but plus the whole problem with the Beacon of Hope was he would have had to go back to juniors, where he just put up 100 points. Why?
Yeah.
Maybe to get a taste of a championship. You got to remember his team was knocked out in the first round, but there's nothing to learn there.
Yeah.
Where Celebrini has plenty to learn still at Boston College.
Yeah.
It's a big time program. They play big time other college schools. So it doesn't kill him.
No, it doesn't. Second one. We all know my opinion. And that's your Artie the Sparty. Welcome to Chicago. Artie and Levshinov will go to Chicago. What are you thinking? What are you thinking Kyle does come the end of
not
January?
what I want, what Kyle does.
What you think?
I won't say what I want until I guess we're doing a draft day one. And I'll tell you who I'd be picking at number 2 that day. I'll make my decision to pick. Not what I think Kyle's going to do.
Okay.
But what do I think Kyle will do? As of right now, I would have to go that Kyle is still going to take the shoe.
All right.
There's a lot of other stuff coming around. Ivan's there. He's just not a slam dunk does he come here. So
yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk a lot about these players. You just kind of want to go through this. We'll go as the flow. Okay.
We'll go as the flow.
We've talked plenty about Lashunov. So
yeah. I feel like top 5 we've kind of talked quite a bit upon. But I've got Artie going to Chicago. Number 3, I've got Demidov going to Anaheim. I think Anaheim they're still not the greatest. They still are in quite a bit of a rebuild, but I think they have enough pieces that are kind of further up in the pipeline that they have the ability, and they're not necessarily as intimidated on but when does he come over?
Yeah.
My other thought was,
yes,
is Anaheim taking Caden Lindstrom at number 3? I think another big center gives a little bit of relief off of Leo Carlson, that he does not have to be 100% all of the time. And I think that's another I think those are where Anaheim's looking.
Yeah, as you can tell, I didn't prepare for this show. For some reason, just because of what the Ducks did last year, I think Lindstrom.
And I think that's a solid pick for Anaheim. I think it fits very well.
He's making a big, strong team. And Lindstrom fits into that mold.
Yeah.
So they're pretty solid defensively. The Bloom kid from Denver, I could see him being on anybody's radar. So
I have him a little bit further down.
But yeah, I would say Lindstrom. So let's say Lindstrom.
Number 4, I've got again 2 possibilities. Because I do think Columbus goes on for the best defenseman available. And I think that's your Anton Silyev, or I could see Buoy going to
Huh.
I think with how they went about the draft last year, you grabbed 2 excellent forwards in the first round. I think it sets you up to take the best defenseman available. I've got all this logic and reasoning, and he's just going to come out with the correct.
I think they would take Ivan. They've dealt with a Russian before. Probably not the place that he would like to play the most. But I think they take him if they talk to him and meet with him in Florida, and he gives them the listen. If for some reason I drop the floor, or I will still love coming here. That's who I take.
Interesting.
Yeah.
We got 5.
We got 5.
This belongs to your Montreal Canadiens. I'm going with the Zane Parikh kid. Or Silyev.
Boy, you got the Russian dropping like a stone.
I had Demidov going at 3 for Anaheim.
Oh, okay, that's nice.
If anything, I've got Lindstrom.
Oh, I've got to keep track of who I've got where. Holy shit.
This is why I have it written down, friends.
This is why I have no mind, friends.
No. I've got the Parikh kid going. Mainly because I think one of Montreal's weakness or weak spots is defense. You know, you've got the Hudson kid coming up, which is going to be great and a perfect addition, but I think you have pieces that are quite a bit further along on the forward end, not necessarily the defensive end. I think you do have pieces, but I think they're a couple of years out. So another defensive piece couldn't hurt.
Okay, I hear you. That means I got to pick?
Yeah.
All right. If I'm Montreal, what do I do?
You got Silyev.
Yeah, I'm going to say Montreal takes the big Russian.
Love it.
Who will be a anchor, a number 2 defenseman for a long, long time.
Yeah. Which would be great for that.
Yeah, and he'll be a thumper.
I mean, could you have Hudson paired with Silyev potentially? Hudson's left-handed.
Huh? Hudson's left-handed?
Mm-hmm.
Silyev's left-handed. I'm sure he could play the right side, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a possibility, depending on what. All of that kind of stuff depends on where you're actually at in your rebuild.
Yeah.
Ideally, you'd like Hudson to play with somebody who could also chip in offensively, and then your Silyev would be paired with somebody else in a complete shutdown role, who sits there and has nothing but ice time against everybody else's top pair.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I think they have enough smaller talent. I want a big, strong guy in the back end, so that's who I'm taking.
Excellent. You got number 6 with the Utah Hockey Club, formerly your Arizona Coyotes. Man, those jerseys dropped this week. They're so ugly. It's so disappointing. I'm still a little mad about it. This is the one that I have dropping. I think if he goes at Anaheim, great with the number 3, but otherwise I do see him making it past Columbus and Montreal, and that's Caden Lindstrom. I feel like Arizona is one of those teams where they have pieces throughout, especially with the draft class that they had the year prior, but they're still definitely in the position that they could benefit from a piece in any position, and it would be a great addition to them. And what's a better piece than a giant centerman?
Yeah, I will go with the. I will have Utah taking the.
Parikh?
Yeah.
Zane Parikh of your Saginaw Spirit.
Yeah, he's going to be a wild card in this draft. Does a lot of things offensively.
Yeah.
Question is what he can do defensively, And can he get away with everything that he does offensively now in the NHL? But that's a home run hitter. You're going to a new market. I say sign the home run hitter. He'll at least be flashy. He'll be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And that might get her done. So that's what I'm going with.
Number 7, your Ottawa Senators. This is where I've got the William kid from the University of Denver. I definitely think Ottawa, similar to Utah, they've got definitely a bunch of pieces coming up. They definitely have pieces already at the NHL level, but I think any position, a huge piece at any position can benefit them. I mean, that's the case for most of these top 16 teams. But I think getting a very skilled defenseman bodes very well for the Ottawa Senators.
Yeah.
And the kid's got wheels.
Yeah, I'm unsure of exactly everything they do need, but they need a jolt of something.
And that could be a something.
So if I am looking at this draft in the top 15,
He's going to go off the boards.
and I want a jolt of something, I'm going with TG.
I had him a little bit later because I want the whole
I'm not
story.
Ottawa gets to number 1, take a Gimlia from Calgary. So there's a story in that to begin with. A Gimlia is a stir-up person.
Yeah.
You now maybe have the ability to tell Brady Tkachuk, listen, it's his job now to stir up and go crazy.
But then what does Brady do all day?
You figure out the rest of it. So that's what I'm saying Ottawa's going to take. I think they're going to take him a little higher. But you want news, you want people talking, he gets everybody talking.
All right. Number 8, our Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, for me, it's an easy one. You've talked about him. That's the Bloom kid then for me.
I'm going with the Dickinson. Just because I feel like Seattle, you've got a very high key pick in Matty Beniers from a couple of years ago. Grab a good defenseman.
Yeah.
And because number 9, I just want this to happen because I like a good fluff story. Although now that you mention it, if Ottawa steals this from Calgary, it'll be great. And that is a Ginla going to Calgary at the number 9. I originally was, hoping that Yakimchuk would go and then he could just stay in Calgary for forever. But now I like this fluff story a bit better. A Ginla to Calgary.
Yeah. TG, is that how you say it? TG? Taiji?
I don't
know. He skyrocketed up the board the second half. So he is a player. So yeah. I can easily see that happening.
Number 10, New Jersey Devils. I go with Cole Eiserman.
Wow. See, that's how you do things on these podcasts, though. You got to reach a little bit so people that decide, I want to click on that because there's some reaching going on.
There's some reaching. Little bit of a reach. I don't think really. He's definitely slid a bit during this, I'd say, second half of the season. But I don't really think he slid as much as a lot of other players just jumped quite a bit the second half of the season. He was originally, long time ago, projected to go number 2. There was a battle between Eiserman versus Celebrini. I've seen him anywhere between 10 to 16. I say if he's there for New Jersey steals him.
Okay.
He's not going to go with that.
No, I will not go with that. I will. It's kind of a tough one.
Also, I really think after 10, it's going to be a jumble. There's going to be a couple of kids that fall quite a bit. There may be some drama as to why leading up to the draft or during the draft. Sometimes it's an off-ice issue. Sometimes it's, just really, really lucky for the Chicago Blackhawks that Oliver Ward dropped as much as he did.
Well, it might be. Somebody was talking about it and saying, if these are podcasters and just normal people like us who are watching hockey, what really do they know? I could not come up with a good reason to say, well, we don't know shit, but basically
we don't. We just like to talk.
So that means, your scouts, that's who you would believe in. Well, that's 9 teams that passed on Oliver Moore. So are the 9 teams wrong? There's Kyle Davidson wrong. That's what we're going to find out.
I want to say the 9 teams are wrong. Not because I want to say that Kyle Davidson is right, but I was fortunate enough to see him this past year when Minnesota played University of Michigan, and I choose to root for the kid. I hope that, the other 9 teams were wrong because I want to believe in the kid and his development.
Yeah, I'm just saying that, I was glad he dropped. I wanted to pick him. He's the guy I would have picked there, but that's 9 teams that for some reason said, yeah, this isn't going to work. So just putting it out there for you and all of your listeners. Where are we at?
Who's New Jersey picking?
Who are they picking?
We don't know.
They're picking Sam Dickinson. I believe I still have Sam on my board.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
11, I've got the Seneca kid.
Whoa, that's our first time. Or since the first pick, yeah. That's who I am going with also.
Number 12, got the Catton kid for Philly. Or, as we said before, that there may be players that drop. There's definitely, I'd say, a couple that may perhaps drop due to off-ice issues. One of them being possibly Trevor Connolly. We're not going to talk about it. If you so choose to do research, it's on the internet. I can also see Philly going with Trevor Connolly because I do not see the city of Philadelphia being bothered by off-ice situations.
Yeah, but they've had enough troubles, so.
And yet they still have more. They've had off-ice troubles, and yet you still sign John Tortorella to be your head coach.
Yes. Where are we at, Philly?
Yeah. I said the Catton kid, or possibly this word Trevor Connolly.
Give me a second. I'm thinking.
We're holding.
We're in a holding pattern right now. We're holding. Holding. It's a little harder. Well, to mix it up, I'll go with the Helenas kid.
Nice. Consta Helena.
Yes.
Helenas. Yeah, we'll go with that. Nice. We love a good mix-up. 13, we've got one of our favorites as my prediction. I see Carter Yakimchuk being your new Minnesota Wild. I think it's a great spot for him. Really, any of them are a great spot because I'm a big fan of the kid. I wish he would drop, and he could drop. He could be there for number 18. He won't be. He's too good. But I see if Yakimchuk's still there, because as I've stated, I've seen him anywhere from 7 to the mid-teens. I think if he's still there for Minnesota, Minnesota doesn't question it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop on your train there.
And I think Minnesota's fortunate enough, just because we've seen it with Rockford being in the same division as Minnesota's minor league team, they have quite a few pieces. Their AHL team is pretty stacked. The Iowa Wild is pretty, they've got pieces. So it takes a little bit of pressure off of Yakimchuk too. Minnesota doesn't immediately need, a 180 of progress in his first year without being or not being drafted or after being drafted. They have time, and not in the sense of they have time like, Anaheim, San Jose, and Chicago has time because we have all the time in the world because we're bad. They have other players, so they don't need their draft picks to be immediately good because they have other guys. We don't need them to be good because we have nothing. 14, San Jose Sharks. This would be my other one. I think if Philly doesn't pick Trevor Connolly, I think Connolly goes to San Jose. Just because San Jose has picked players in the past, I'd say within the past 10 years, they've definitely picked guys who have had attitude issues, off-ice issues, and it does not seem to bother them. Granted, they were under a different general manager than they are now, but I don't see them having an issue with it. And I also don't see them having an issue with it because they can just sweep it under the "we've got Macklin Celebrini" celebration. So even if you don't go with Connolly, you can go with a bit of a reach for number 14 for San Jose, and it'll be fine because you still have Macklin Celebrini.
Yeah, for me, they'll have Will Smith. They'll have Macklin Celebrini. I've got to figure they then go and take Yzerman.
Interesting.
Somebody to put the puck in the net.
Yep.
You hope he learns the rest of the game when he's in Minnesota.
Yeah. And I think he will.
But yeah, I don't see him dropping past that. I understand that he's dropped pretty far on boards. He's dropped pretty far on mine. I could see him going earlier, but lazy people who just score goals don't make it in the NHL. He's going to have to learn how to do the rest of it.
15, I got the Nagar kid that we talked about last week from Norway going to Detroit. We talked about that he might still be there at 18. I realistically don't see him. This is kind of the time where I see him going anywhere between 13 to like 17, pushing on 18. So I think it's a good addition for Detroit. And I think Detroit's also in the same position where, if it takes him a year or two to come over from Norway, he doesn't come over immediately. That's okay. Because the Grand Rapids Griffins are stacked. And you've got a lot of players that are going from there to Detroit right now. So they have time, not because they're, they have no pieces whatsoever. Detroit has quite a bit of pieces in every aspect of their farm system. So I think you can take a power forward that might be a little bit of a reach in terms of when they come over, and it doesn't hurt.
Okay. I forget who I picked where. Is there a way to go back? Have I picked up the Cotton kid yet? The Caton kid?
No.
So I will say he goes to Detroit.
Okay.
He has fallen on my board for some reason. Probably a little bit is that I'm still in Hawks draft mode.
Yeah.
And he's 5'11". I'm just having a problem with drafting anybody under 6 feet for the Hawks, just for right now, because we have so many of them.
Well, and we have a lot of Stan Bowman baggage from when we would just get 5'9" tiny guys who could kind of skate.
But yeah, I'm going to need to listen to this and then write down my people.
You will?
Yeah, there are people falling on my board.
There's definitely people falling on my boards, but we're having fun.
I'm having fun.
We're having so much fun.
Okay.
16 for St. Louis. This is where I've got the Constantinopolis kid coming in. I can see him going earlier. I can also see him dropping a little bit. But I think 16 is about sort of the average and where I see him potentially going.
I've already got him gone, don't I?
Yes, you
Pretty
do.
Sure.
But you don't have the Yakimchuk drafted.
Really?
Yeah, I really don't think he drafts or goes down that far to 16.
Okay, you're making my picks for me, huh? Yes. I stand corrected by the hockey princess over there. Yes, I will have them taking the Yakimchuk, who I've heard a wide range of things between, oh my God, might be the best defenseman in the draft to he's going to be a bust.
I don't want him to be a bust, but
So,
that's because I choose to support the development.
But yes, that's who I'm going to go with. Because I just don't. There's a lot there, and he's a right-handed defenseman. It's hard to justify him sliding down any further.
Because if he gets close to Chicago, Kyle's got to do a silly little trade to make sure that we get him. All right, 17, Washington Capitals. I've got the Chernyshov kid. Just because I don't see Washington passing it up. It's too good of a fluff story for them. It also fits. Could he play with Ryan Leonard? Sure. They don't have a ton of young pieces to begin with, mainly just because they've traded a lot of their draft capital the past couple of years to grab already veteran players to make a playoff run. Last year was sort of the first year in a very long time that they've been able to draft high in the first round. So I go Chernyshov just because I don't see Washington passing up a Russian.
I'm going to agree with you.
Yep. 18, we got the kid from the Chicago Steel. I think just as he comes to Chicago, we got Michael Hayes.
Okay. You're probably right. I'm just going to say something different just to say something different for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go with the Green Tree kid.
Which, if that's the case, heck, I haven't even.
I know you haven't.
All right.
So, Green
cool
Tree,
with
he's a 6'2" power forward. They need power forwards. It'll be between the two of those. I don't see Haig going any earlier. Green Tree might. But, I'll go Green Tree instead of Haig.
All right. We got to 18. We're going to speed through the last bit.
Okay.
19. I got the Basha kid.
Okay. I will there. Trevor Connolly. Isn't that the troublemaker?
That is the troublemaker.
So,
send the troublemaker to Vegas.
Exactly.
All right. 20. I got the Solberg kid.
The defenseman?
Yeah.
I don't think I've used him either yet.
Nope. Going to the New York Islanders.
Going to the New York Islanders. Hold on. I know now you want to speed through it.
No, you're good. Take your time.
Hold on. Oh, my thing just crashed. Give me a second. Sorry, people. I know you expect more out of me, but you're not getting much more. But let's see who we could. Hold on.
We're holding.
Are you holding?
Holding.
Keep on holding.
We're holding.
So you're still holding.
We're still holding.
All right. The Islanders will take Ryder Ritchie.
Interesting. 21.
Hey, don't touch things.
21.
21 is.
I see Green Tree going to Los Angeles.
Okay. I will say, because I don't think I have the Solberg kid yet going anywhere. So
we agreed on the Islanders.
We did?
Yeah. At 20.
No, we didn't. At 20, I went with.
No, Connolly, you went with at 19. Send the troublemaker to Vegas.
On 20, I went with Ryder Ritchie. Yes, I did. So with 21, I will go with the where's he from?
He's
Norway. Oh yeah, the Norway guy.
22, Nashville Predators. This is a bit of a reach for him, but I think if they pick him, he fits their style completely. It's a bit of a reach, but we've seen weirder things going. I see the Nashville Predators taking Elick.
Really?
I think he fits their. I mean, the Nashville Predators are dirty, and Charlie fits that. He's the thumper.
He does. I will say Nashville will pick Sasha. My Sasha guy.
Yes.
Because he's also a nasty dude.
23, Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
My gut would go with Sasha. However, I think Toronto's definitely one of them that tends to go quite a bit off the boards. They did that last year with your Easton Cowan. But yeah, I'll go with Sasha.
Yeah, honestly, I still have Michael Haig on the board, so that's where I figure Haig goes there.
These last couple can really I think once you get to 20, it can definitely be there are teams that are 20 and onward to the end of the first round. I think they might reach a bit more. Sometimes they'll reach to ones that are projected to be the first half of the second round. Sometimes it's really
Except my predictions will probably be perfect.
They will be correct, just like your predictions for the Stanley Cup Final.
Let's go.
Who do I still have to use?
I don't know.
Was it Colorado? I'm going with the Juracek kid. His brother plays for Columbus.
Okay.
Adam Juracek.
Gotcha. Where are we at? Colorado?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for Colorado, I'll go with the Basha kid.
You went with Basha. Or
No, I didn't go with Basha. I went with my other tough guy, Sasha. There's Sasha and there's Basha. Boy, that's something people don't need to see. Let's move the fuck on.
Ottawa.
I say takes Cole Hudson.
And I say, yeah, I'll go with that.
Okay.
Especially because your next pick is the Montreal Canadiens. And if there's one thing I learned, that Canadian teams are a little petty towards each other. So I can definitely see Ottawa stealing Cole Hudson from Montreal. Montreal, I go with the Emery kid.
The Emery kid?
Mm-hmm.
EJ Emery?
Yep.
I will go with. Who am I going with?
That's a good question.
Yeah, hold on. I'll go with Jet Luchenko. Jet. As you can say, Jet. Woo, woo, woo. Okay.
27 Carolina Hurricanes.
I will go with EJ Emery.
I will go Nikita Artemanov.
Alrighty.
Yeah, Carolina is definitely one of the few. Yes, you've got the obvious choices of Washington and Tampa, but I think Carolina is also one of the teams that is not afraid to draft a Russian.
Okay.
Next, we got Calgary.
Okay.
I go with the Luchenko kid.
You are not.
Yes, I am.
Who are you kidding?
Me.
Oh. Well, who are my choices? Let's see. Go back to this taking a little while.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it is. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. An excellent choice, Crusty.
I thought so. Crusty is dialed in right now. He's got a lot of mm-hms and mm-hms. I'll take the other Russian. I'll take the Artemov kid or whatever.
Dallas.
For Dallas? Whoa!
Wow.
Okay.
I will go with the Dean Latruno from St. Andrews College for Dallas. He is a 6-foot center or 6'7" centerman. He's a baby. I'd say this is similar to like a Sam Renzel pick, where there's a lot of hope, there's a lot of potential, but because Dallas is where they are, they're as skilled as they are. I think he can take quite a bit of time to develop, and it doesn't hurt Dallas. I think Dallas can go with a reach in general, so why not the 6'7" center?
Okay, I'm going to go with Charlie Ellick there.
Nice.
Thanks.
We got 3 more picks before we wrap up. I know.
God.
New York Rangers.
Yep.
Go with the Bowden.
Yeah, I'm going with him too. Let's go on.
Anaheim.
Yes. Whoa! What the heck happened there? All right, go on.
I go with the Stiga kid for New York or for Anaheim.
Okay.
And 32, another Philly pick. I will go with the Tarek Paris. I have no idea.
She has no idea. I will go with, for 31, I'll go with the Stiga kid. And 32 is, I think I still have Adam Jurek out.
You do?
So I will put him out there.
Interesting. All right. For the one listener that's listening to us after the end of simulating the first round of the draft, thank you so much.
Have yourself a drink.
Please. All right. That is all. Like I said, this episode was filmed quite early than the release date. We normally drop on Thursdays. This was filmed on Sunday. So we don't know what's going to happen with the Stanley Cup Finals. This is filmed a lot earlier than Game 5 or potentially Game 6. We don't know. But make sure to hit that like and subscribe on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube, however you watch or listen to us ramble on a weekly basis. And that is all. And we will talk at you guys next week.